Okay, Diddy, huh? This whole thing is crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Music mogul, tons of legal trouble, this whole blackmail vault theory.
It really is like straight out of a movie.
Right. Where do we even begin with this?
Well, I think we got to start with the charges against him, right? I mean, he's facing federal accusations.
Yeah, for real.
Racketeering conspiracy, we're talking sex trafficking, even transporting for prostitution.
This is serious stuff.
And this isn't just rumors like tabloids.
Right.
This is from the Department of Homeland Security, formal charges.
I was reading, they even raided his places, like, as part of the investigation.
Oh, yeah.
Took his phones, everything.
That's a big deal, right? Makes you wonder what they were looking for.
For real.
Authorities are taking this seriously, that's clear.
Yeah.
And then you've got the sexual assault lawsuits, multiple women.
Yeah, Cassie Ventura.
Right, Cassie Ventura.
Joey Dickerson-Neal.
Even accusations of, like, a gang rape incident.
This is heavy.
It gets really dark, really unsettling.
And then you add in this whole Diddy disappearance thing, where stories, allegations against him just vanish.
It's so strange, right? Like, poof.
It's like a magic trick or something.
Yeah, like, how does that even happen? There are documented cases, journalists backing down from stories, lawsuits, boom, settled out of nowhere.
People who are talking suddenly silent.
Exactly. It's a pattern. You can't just ignore it.
So are people saying this disappearance is not a coincidence?
Right, like, it's orchestrated.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of talk about Diddy using his money, his power to silence people.
Makes sense. He's got the resources.
Oh, yeah, powerful lawyers, legal tactics, making things disappear.
But could it just be fear, though? Like, these are big allegations. Wouldn't someone somewhere want to speak out no matter what?
It's a good question, right? What kind of power does Diddy actually have?
Yeah.
Is it just money? Or is it something more emotional, social? Like, how does he keep people quiet?
Okay, let's get to this blackmail vault theory. This sounds like a spy movie.
It does, right?
It's wild.
It's super intriguing. The idea is he's kept, like, records, maybe videos even, of stuff happening at his parties.
Compromising stuff, I'm guessing.
Exactly, and he uses it, right?
Yeah.
To control people, keep them from talking.
But is there any actual proof this vault exists?
Right now, no, not concrete proof.
Okay.
More like an open secret in Hollywood, whispers, that kind of vibe.
But people believe it.
Oh yeah, the fear is real, even without hard proof.
Like who? Anyone we'd know.
You've got big names reportedly worried, Jennifer Lopez, Cameron Diaz.
Wow, that's wild.
Makes you think about the cost of fame, right? What secrets are out there? What could be in this vault?
Yeah, if it even exists.
Right, but even the fact that people believe it does say something about Hollywood, about power.
It's a culture of fear.
Exactly. Silence is bought. Truth is a commodity. It's messed up.
Okay, so we've got serious charges, this vanishing act, and maybe a secret vault of dirt.
A lot going on.
What's Diddy even saying about all this? He can't just ignore it, right?
Oh, no, his legal team is in full defense mode, denying everything vehemently. Diddy's innocent, they say.
Really?
An innocent man. They've called him publicly, saying, don't judge yet. Wait for the facts.
So how are they fighting these charges? What's their strategy?
Well, they tried to get him out on bail, offered a $50 million bond.
$50 million? That's insane.
Secured by his Miami Beach property, no less.
Shows you the kind of resources he's got.
Oh, yeah, they're not messing around. They're ready to fight this hard.
But what's the bail thing? Is it like a legal move or?
Hard to say for sure, but it could mean a couple things.
Okay.
First, they're willing to use his wealth to throw money at this.
Right. Makes sense.
Like, we're not backing down, bring it on.
But could it also mean he's actually scared to go to trial? Like, wants to avoid it at all costs?
Possibly. A long public trial, that's got to be daunting.
Yeah, who wouldn't be?
Maybe they think bail gives them more control, manage the narrative better.
So minimize the damage, even if it costs a fortune.
Exactly. Classic power play. But there's more to their strategy than just bail.
Oh, yeah.
They're picking apart the prosecution's case, detail by detail.
Wow, going all in.
Even demanded they remove handwritten notes from his jail cell. Attorney-client privilege, they say.
Trying to control every little thing.
It seems that way, and it's something you see in these big, high-profile cases.
Yeah.
When you've got Diddy's resources, you play a different game, legal maneuvering, PR, shape public opinion, maybe even sway the outcome.
So we've got the legal battle, the mysterious disappearances, this possible blackmail vault.
A lot of layers to this.
It feels like Diddy's situation is part of a bigger trend we're seeing, right? Lots of powerful people facing accusations.
You're absolutely right. It's everywhere. Financial crimes, abuse of power, even foreign influence. It's like
a wave of accountability.
Yeah, exactly. And no one's immune. Not even someone like Diddy.
So is this Diddy thing just part of a bigger problem? Are we finally saying, hey, power and money don't mean you get away with stuff?
That's the question, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I think it's one we're going to be asking ourselves for a long time. Because as we dig deeper into Diddy's story, it makes us look in the mirror as a society, how we view power, how we tolerate secrets, what we accept in the name of fame and fortune.
Yeah, it's a whole web, right? It makes you think about other cases we've seen, like Senator Menendez.
Oh yeah, the bribery, foreign influence thing.
Exactly, convicted recently, right?
Yeah.
Or even Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, that whole mess.
25 years, that's a long time.
Huge, right. And these cases, obviously they're different from Diddy's situation.
Yeah, different details.
But they tap into the same feeling, like...
Like the rules are different for some people.
Exactly, like, is justice really blind? Or does money, connections, does that shield you from the consequences?
Makes you think, right? Has this always been happening? Are we just more aware of it now with social media? Everything's out there.
That's a good point. Social media, 24/7 news cycle, it's harder to hide stuff now.
Yeah, everyone's a reporter these days.
People want transparency. They're not buying the old ways anymore. We're powerful, just do whatever.
Right, right.
The playing field's changed, at least a little bit. So, back to Diddy. There's that video, 2016, him attacking Cassie.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's pretty damning. How's his team dealing with that?
Well, get this. They're trying to say it was a consensual relationship.
No way, seriously.
That's their argument. Not coercion, not abuse, consensual.
But that video, it's violent. How can they say that?
It's a bold move, that's for sure. Could backfire big time.
Yeah, if it doesn't work, it makes it look even worse.
But it shows their approach, right? Push boundaries, test the limits. What can they get away with in court?
So they're hoping to create doubt, like muddy the waters enough that the jury's not sure?
Possibly. Undermine the accusations, paint Diddy as the victim of some smear campaign, classic legal tactic.
But that's not just Cassie, right? There are other women accusing him of stuff.
Right, multiple accusers, it gets tricky.
Yeah, gotta have a consistent story.
Exactly. They need to address each one while keeping their overall defense believable. It's a tough balancing act.
Let's go back to the blackmail vault just for a sec. What would it take to prove that thing even exists?
Good question. It would be hard. Really hard.
Yeah, I bet.
You'd need real evidence, not just talk.
Like what?
Recordings, documents, maybe someone who saw Diddy collecting this stuff, using it to threaten people.
So rumors aren't enough.
Nope, not in court. You got to have a clear pattern, tangible proof, can't just be gossip.
And if that proof did show up, what would that mean for Diddy legally?
Oh, huge trouble. A whole new set of charges, extortion, intimidation, maybe even obstruction of justice.
Wow, that's a game changer.
Totally changes the whole case.
Makes you wonder what Diddy's thinking. Does he really believe he can beat all this? Or is there a point where he cuts a deal?
Hard to know what's going on in his head, but based on his lawyers, they're going for it. Full fight.
Yeah, they're not backing down.
Is it belief in his innocence? Or just not wanting to lose? Who knows? Time will tell.
So we're stuck, right? All these accusations, this suspicion hanging over him, but no real answers yet.
Yeah, it's weird limbo. Feels like it could go any which way.
And this whole thing, it's bigger than just Diddy, right? It's about the industry, the whole system.
Absolutely. This story could have ripple effects. It's a reminder that power, influence, it can all disappear, especially if these allegations are true.
It makes you think about how we deal with these kinds of stories. Do we jump to conclusions, give people the benefit of the doubt, or just accept that there's always more to the story?
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Truth, perception, especially now, so much information, but it's easy to manipulate too.
Yeah, gotta be careful.
We got to be critical, question what we see,
Mm-hmm.
don't jump to conclusions before we know all the facts.
Which brings us back to the Diddy disappearance. If we can't always trust what we see or hear, how do we know what's really going on? Can we even get to the truth when it's all secrets and manipulation?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Mm-hmm.
No easy answer, but I think it starts with acknowledging that there are always layers to these stories.
Layers.
Yeah, there's the public story, the one everyone sees, all polished and presented.
Right, the PR version.
Exactly. And then there's what's really happening behind the scenes, the stuff we don't see.
So look deeper, figure out the motivations, the power dynamics.
Exactly. Recognize the unseen forces, money, influence, protecting reputations. It's all in play.
And be willing to question the official story, even if it's easier to just believe it.
Exactly. Sometimes the truth is uncomfortable.
But if those unseen forces are so powerful, how do we even stand a chance of finding out what's really going on? It feels like we're always one step behind.
It can feel that way, for sure. But there's power in asking questions, in demanding transparency, in not accepting silence.
So we can't just sit back and wait for answers. We got to be more proactive.
Exactly. Dig deeper, connect the dots, hold people accountable, and sometimes that means being uncomfortable, asking tough questions, challenging the status quo.
So with Diddy, no matter what happens legally, his story's already started a bigger conversation about power, accountability, what people will do to protect their image.
Absolutely. This goes beyond Diddy. It's about our culture, how we view fame, secrets, that blurry line between truth and what we perceive.
And that's what keeps it so interesting, right? We don't know how it ends, what secrets might come out, what truths will be revealed.
Exactly, that uncertainty. That's what keeps us hooked, keeps us wanting to know more, keeps us asking questions.
Okay, so we've covered the charges, the disappearing act, the blackmail vault, this whole wave of accountability we're seeing, but there's still so much we don't know. What are the big questions that are still out there?
Well, I think the biggest one is, will there be a smoking gun? Will some piece of evidence come out that proves or disproves these allegations?
Or will it just be a he said, she said thing where we never really know for sure?
Right, and if that evidence does appear, what will it mean? More charges, a plea deal? Will it change everything?
So we're just waiting to see what happens.
In a way, yeah, we're all watching, waiting, and that's part of what makes this so captivating, right? It's real life playing out, high-stakes, complex characters, and the ending's still unwritten.
It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion, you know? This guy, Diddy, on top of the world, and now it could all be gone.
It's that classic story, isn't it? Hubris, the rise and fall, happens over and over, but we're always fascinated by it.
I guess it's that whole idea someone has it all, fame, money, power, then boom, it's gone. Makes you think about your own life.
Yeah, your own values, what really matters, and it reminds us no one's above the law. At least that's how it's supposed to be, right?
Justice for everyone, no matter who you are.
Exactly, but does it really work that way? Especially with someone like Diddy, that's a question we're trying to answer.
And some of these accusations, they're from years ago. Why are they coming out now? It makes you wonder, is it just a coincidence?
That's another big question, right? Delayed justice. Or is there something else going on?
Yeah, like are people trying to take advantage of the situation, get some payback, maybe?
It's possible we don't know the full story. Maybe there are motives we haven't even considered.
It's almost like we need a whole other deep dive just on the accusers.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Get their side of things, their motivations, their credibility, see if there's any connection between them.
Yeah, more layers to peel back, but even if we don't figure out every single detail, one thing's clear to me, this is bigger than Diddy now.
Oh, absolutely. This is a cultural moment. We're confronting some uncomfortable truths about power, privilege, who gets away with what.
And it's not just entertainment, it's everywhere. Politics, business, even sports. It's like people are waking up.
Yeah, saying enough is enough, no more turning a blind eye.
There's a demand for justice, for transparency. It's actually kind of hopeful in a way.
It is. It shows we're not willing to accept the old ways anymore.
But it also shows how much work we still have to do, change the system, create a culture where people in power are held accountable, where victims can speak out without fear.
Yeah, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
But it starts with us challenging our own biases, realizing that the truth is often complicated. There's not always a clear good guy and bad guy.
So we've gone deep on this Diddy situation. It's messy, it's confusing. But as we wrap things up, what's the one thing you want our listener to take away from all of this?
I think the biggest takeaway is this story's not over. We don't have all the answers yet. There could be more surprises, more twists and turns.
So don't jump to conclusions.
Exactly. Stay curious, stay engaged, be open to new information, because this isn't just some Hollywood gossip.
It's real life with real consequences.
It affects all of us, how we think about power, accountability, justice. These are big ideas that we're still figuring out.
A lot to think about, for sure. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens next with Diddy, but we'll be watching and we'll be back with more as soon as we have it.
Absolutely. And until then, let's keep asking questions, keep pushing for accountability, keep fighting for a world where truth and justice actually win.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's been a wild ride.
Yeah, definitely one for the books.